As we age, especially after 60, something starts to happen quietly within our bodies, something most people don't notice until it's already had a big impact. We begin to lose muscle. And I don't just mean losing a bit of strength or feeling a little weaker. I'm talking about a biological process called sarcopenia. It's the gradual, progressive loss of skeletal muscle mass and function. It's real, it's measurable, and if left unchecked, it can change the entire trajectory of your health span, not just how long you live, but how well you live. Now here's what's really important to understand. This isn't just about aesthetics. It's not just about looking toned or keeping your weight in check. This is about your metabolic health, your balance, your mobility, and your independence. Muscle is far more than just tissue that helps you move. It's an endocrine organ. It communicates with your brain, your immune system, and even your cardiovascular system. When you lose muscle, you lose resilience. You lose your body's ability to adapt to stress, fight off disease, and recover from injury. And for most people, this process accelerates after age 60 because of specific physiological changes. One of the biggest drivers is the natural decline in anabolic hormones, testosterone, estrogen, growth hormone, and insulin, like growth factor 1. These are the key signals that tell your body to build and preserve muscle. As those levels drop, so does your body's ability to maintain lean mass. That's part 1. Then there's a second component, mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondria are the energy factories of your cells, and when they become less efficient, your muscles fatigue faster, recover slower, and are more prone to breakdown. That's a big reason why even people who try to stay active sometimes struggle with strength as they age. We also have to factor in inflammation, low-grade chronic inflammation that builds up from years of oxidative stress, poor sleep, high sugar intake, and sedentary habits. That inflammation doesn't just make you feel tired, it actively breaks down muscle tissue and disrupts the signals that stimulate repair and growth. Now here's where it gets even more concerning. Muscle loss often goes unnoticed until something dramatic happens, like a fall or a sudden drop in mobility. People suddenly find themselves winded going upstairs, struggling to get out of a chair, or needing assistance just to carry groceries. That's when the red flag finally goes up, but by then, a significant amount of muscle mass has already been lost. But here's the hopeful part. This isn't irreversible. Science has shown us that even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, you can stimulate muscle growth and recovery. You can stop the progression of sarcopenia. The key lies in a combination of proper physical activity, especially resistance training, and very specific nutritional strategies, and that's where today's topic comes in, fruits. Not just any fruits, but 5 fruits that contain powerful compounds to support muscle maintenance and repair at the cellular level. This may surprise you, but certain fruits go beyond simple nutrition. They work biochemically to reduce inflammation, enhance mitochondrial function, improve hormonal balance, and even boost protein synthesis when combined with the right foods. These fruits are easy to add to your daily life, delicious to eat, and most importantly, scientifically backed to support the aging process in a healthy, powerful way. So, when we talk about eating 5 fruits to stop muscle loss and rebuild strength after 60, we're not talking about a trend or a quick fix. We're talking about engaging with your biology at the root level, using natural, nutrient-dense foods to rewrite the future of your physical health. And that starts by first understanding the process we're up against. Once you know how muscle declines with age, you're empowered to do something about it, because the body can respond even decades later if you feed it what it truly needs. That's where these 5 fruits come in, each one carefully chosen, each one bringing something unique to the table, and together they form a natural defense system against the muscle loss that so many people think is just a normal part of aging. It's not, and now you know why. Now that you understand what's really happening to muscle tissue after 60, Let's talk about the other half of the equation, what you can actually do about it. And I want to focus in on something that's often underestimated, yet incredibly powerful: nutrition. We tend to think about muscle in terms of exercise, lifting weights, staying active, doing resistance bands, and that's essential, no question. But what most people miss is that your nutrition is what determines whether your body can actually rebuild that muscle. It's the raw material. If you're not fueling correctly, your body has nothing to work with. You can train all you want, but without the right nutrients, your body won't be able to repair or grow that tissue effectively. Now, here's the surprising part. When people think about eating for muscle, they immediately jump to protein. And yes, protein is vital. But what often gets ignored is the role of specific compounds found in fruits that can enhance the muscle building process, especially for older adults. Certain fruits have antioxidant compounds, polyphenols, and micronutrients that actively reduce the chronic inflammation that breaks down muscle tissue. They support mitochondrial health, so your muscle cells can produce more energy. They help your body absorb and utilize the protein you're already eating more efficiently, and most importantly, they turn down the catabolic processes, the ones that break down muscle, and turn up the anabolic ones, the ones that build it back up. What that means in practical terms is this: when you consume the right fruits daily, especially in combination with quality protein and movement, you can literally change the environment inside your muscles. You can shift your body out of a breakdown mode and into a rebuilding mode. That's a huge deal, especially after 60, when those biological systems aren't firing as strongly as they used to. Another major benefit is blood sugar regulation. When blood sugar spikes too high or crashes too low, it creates inflammation and oxidative stress that damages muscle tissue. The right fruits contain fiber and natural sugars that slow down absorption, regulate glucose, and protect your cells. This matters because insulin isn't just a blood sugar hormone, it's also an anabolic hormone. It plays a key role in driving nutrients into your muscles. So when your insulin sensitivity improves, your muscles receive more of what they need to recover and grow. Certain fruits also contain high levels of potassium, magnesium, and vitamin C, all of which are crucial for muscle contraction, hydration, and tissue repair. For example, potassium helps prevent cramps and supports the electrical signals that allow your muscles to fire properly. Magnesium is essential for over 300 biochemical reactions, many of them tied directly to muscle function and recovery, and vitamin C, it helps regulate cortisol, the stress hormone that, when elevated, can eat away at muscle tissue. And don't underestimate the psychological side of this. When you start eating these nutrient-rich fruits, not only are you helping your muscles, you're also feeding your brain, your mood, and your motivation. A well-nourished body is more willing to move, more eager to exercise, and more capable of recovering afterward. That creates a positive feedback loop. Better food leads to better movement leads to better strength, and better strength leads to greater independence and vitality. So it's not just that these fruits are healthy, it's that they're targeted. They interact with your biology in a very precise way. They don't just give you energy, they help your body heal. And when you're over 60, that healing process becomes the foundation for every other goal you have: staying mobile, staying independent, avoiding injuries, and ultimately extending your health span. If you want to stop muscle loss, if you want to rebuild your strength in a way that lasts, then the food you eat is not optional. It's the strategy. Let's start with one of the most powerful science-backed fruits you can add to your daily routine if you're serious about stopping muscle loss and rebuilding strength after 60. Blueberries. And I know what you might be thinking. Blueberries, really? That small, common fruit that most people toss on top of cereal or yogurt? Yes, exactly that. But what most people don't realize is that inside those tiny, dark blue spheres is a nutritional profile that targets some of the exact mechanisms responsible for muscle breakdown and weakness as we age. Blueberries are rich in compounds called anthocyanins. These are powerful antioxidants that have been shown to protect cells from oxidative stress that accelerates aging and directly damages muscle tissue. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When you consume blueberries regularly, these anthocyanins actually help repair the very cells inside your muscles by supporting mitochondrial health. And that matters especially after 60 because your mitochondria, the energy factories inside your muscle cells, begin to slow down. They don't produce ATP, your body's cellular energy currency, as efficiently. That leads to fatigue, slower recovery, and more rapid muscle decline. Blueberries help counter that. Research shows they improve mitochondrial biogenesis, the process by which your body creates new mitochondria. That means your muscles aren't just surviving. They're being fueled and energized from the inside out. This creates an environment that supports faster recovery, better endurance, and more efficient strength development. But the benefits go beyond just energy production. Blueberries also have a direct impact on inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the biggest contributors to sarcopenia, the muscle loss that creeps in as we age. And blueberries, they go to work on that too. Multiple studies have shown that people who consume blueberries regularly see a measurable drop in key inflammatory markers like CRP, C-reactive protein, and IL-6. These are the silent destroyers of muscle health, and if you don't get them under control, no amount of protein or exercise will completely reverse the damage. There's also another layer to this. Blueberries have been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, and that's a big deal because insulin doesn't just regulate blood sugar, it helps shuttle nutrients, including amino acids, into your muscle cells. When your insulin response is sharp and efficient, your muscles absorb more of the building blocks they need to repair and grow. That's one reason I recommend combining blueberries with a protein source, especially after a workout. The natural sugars in blueberries create a gentle insulin response, while the antioxidants reduce oxidative stress, and when paired with protein, it becomes a powerful recovery combination. One more thing to keep in mind, blueberries are also incredibly easy to integrate into your daily routine. You can toss them into a smoothie, mix them with Greek yogurt, or eat them alongside a hard, boiled egg or cottage cheese, no cooking required, no prep time. Just consistent, reliable nutrition that goes to work where you need it most. So yes, something as simple as eating a handful of blueberries can have a massive impact on how your muscles function, recover, and rebuild, especially after 60. Another incredibly powerful fruit when it comes to stopping muscle loss and rebuilding strength after 60 is one that often surprises people, avocados. Technically, yes, they're a fruit, even though we tend to treat them more like a vegetable. And unlike the sweet fruits you might associate with dessert or smoothies, avocados bring something else to the table: healthy fats, fiber, and a wide spectrum of micronutrients that are essential for muscle repair, hormonal balance, and cellular energy. Now, here's what makes avocados so special. As we age, one of the biggest threats to our muscle health is chronic inflammation, especially the kind that builds slowly over time. This low-grade inflammation interferes with your body's ability to synthesize muscle protein and recover after movement or exercise. Avocados are loaded with monounsaturated fats, particularly oleic acid, which has been shown to reduce inflammation at a cellular level. That means you're not just preventing further breakdown, you're actually creating an internal environment that allows your muscles to regenerate more efficiently. But that's not all. Avocados are also rich in magnesium and potassium, two minerals that are absolutely essential for muscle function. Potassium helps regulate the electrical impulses that control muscle contractions, while magnesium supports over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, many of which are directly tied to muscle recovery, nerve function, and protein metabolism. And if you're over 60, there's a good chance you're not getting enough of either. Deficiencies in these minerals can lead to fatigue, cramping, and even muscle weakness, all of which compound the effects of aging. Avocados help correct that naturally. They're also one of the best sources of glutathione, the body's master antioxidant. Glutathione supports liver detoxification, reduces oxidative stress, and protects muscle cells from damage. Think of it as an internal shield, fighting off the free radicals that would otherwise wear down your tissue over time. The more you protect your muscle cells at the microscopic level, the more strength and endurance you'll be able to sustain in your daily life. Another critical aspect is the way avocados support hormone health. One of the reasons muscle mass declines after 60 is that levels of anabolic hormones like testosterone and growth hormone drop. But the good fats in avocados provide the building blocks your body needs to produce and regulate those hormones more effectively. When your hormonal environment is optimized, even slightly, your muscle cells respond more favorably to exercise, protein intake, and recovery routines. Here's a practical strategy you can start using immediately. Add half an avocado to your breakfast. Pair it with eggs or Greek yogurt for a high protein at meal that stabilizes blood sugar, supports sustained energy, and kickstarts the muscle repair process early in the day. You can also incorporate avocados into post-workout meals to reduce inflammation and replenish key nutrients lost during exercise. This isn't about following trends or looking for shortcuts. It's about aligning your nutrition with your biology, using food to communicate with your body in a language it understands. Avocados do that. They provide the fuel, the building blocks, and the signals your muscles need to stay strong, especially when it matters most. Let's move into a trio of fruits that work together in a really strategic way. Bananas, oranges, and tart cherries. Each one brings something unique to the table, and when combined into your daily routine, they help cover some of the most critical aspects of muscle preservation and recovery after 60. They support energy, reduce inflammation, balance hormones, and enhance sleep quality, all of which directly impact your ability to maintain strength as you age. Start with bananas. They're often overlooked because they seem so basic, but don't underestimate their power. Bananas are rich in potassium, and potassium plays a direct role in maintaining healthy muscle contractions. When potassium levels are too low, your muscles fatigue faster, and cramping becomes more common. For older adults, this can create a cycle of inactivity and discomfort that worsens muscle loss over time. But bananas don't just deliver potassium, they also contain vitamin B6, which supports protein metabolism and the nervous system, ensuring that your muscles can fire and recover efficiently. Next up, oranges. Most people think of vitamin C when they hear orange, and yes, that's a big part of the benefit. Vitamin C helps your body produce collagen, which is essential for connective tissue strength. Strong tendons and ligaments are what allow your muscles to transfer force effectively and recover without injury. But there's another side to vitamin C that's equally important. It reduces cortisol, your body's stress hormone. Chronically elevated cortisol levels actually break down muscle tissue and block new muscle growth. So, something as simple as a daily orange can help bring your cortisol into balance, giving your muscles a much more favorable environment to grow. Finally, tart cherries. These are incredibly powerful for muscle recovery. Tart cherries are rich in compounds called anthocyanins and melatonin. The anthocyanins help reduce muscle soreness, particularly after exercise or any physically demanding activity. But what makes tart cherries stand out is their ability to improve sleep quality, thanks to their natural melatonin in content. And here's why that matters. Muscle repair happens while you sleep. Deep, restorative sleep is when your body releases the most growth hormone and triggers tissue regeneration. Without good sleep, all your other efforts, nutrition, training, supplements, can only go so far. So when you look at these three fruits together, bananas for muscle function and energy, oranges for stress regulation and connective tissue, and tart cherries for recovery and sleep, you're covering the entire spectrum of what your body needs to stay strong, especially after 60. Now that we've gone through the fruits that actively support muscle retention and rebuilding, the next step is understanding how to integrate them into your daily routine so you can actually benefit from their full potential. Because knowing what to eat is only half the picture. When and how you eat these foods matters just as much, especially after 60, when nutrient absorption can slow down and recovery windows become shorter. Timing your nutrition makes a real difference. One of the most effective strategies is to pair these fruits with protein at key times throughout the day. For example, starting your morning with a protein-rich breakfast that includes a banana or some avocado sets up your muscles to rebuild after the natural overnight fast. It stabilizes blood sugar, supports energy levels, and helps prevent that mid-morning crash that can lead to inactivity and further muscle loss. That's your first opportunity to feed your muscles what they need right from the beginning of the day. Then there's your post-exercise window. After any kind of physical activity, whether it's walking, light resistance training, or even yard work, your body is primed to absorb nutrients. This is the perfect time to bring in blueberries or tart cherries paired with a protein shake or Greek yogurt. The antioxidants in the fruit will fight the oxidative stress triggered by exercise, and the protein will immediately get to work repairing the tiny muscle tears that allow you to grow stronger. That recovery window is one of the most important opportunities of the day, and if you miss it, you lose momentum. In the evening, consider how your fruit intake can support rest and overnight recovery. Tart cherries, for instance, can be a great addition to a light evening snack because of their natural melatonin. Pair them with a bit of cottage cheese or a boiled egg, something slow-digesting, and you'll support muscle repair throughout the night while also improving sleep quality. To make this sustainable, it helps to plan ahead. You can rotate your fruits through the week to keep it simple. Monday might be bananas and oranges. Tuesday could be blueberries and avocado. Mix and match based on your schedule, your activity levels, and your preferences. It doesn't need to be complicated, just consistent. The goal isn't just to add fruit for the sake of health. It's to use these specific fruits strategically, in the right moments, to fuel your body's ability to hold on to strength, rebuild tissue, and keep moving powerfully as you age. So here's the truth. Muscle loss after 60 isn't inevitable. It's not just a natural part of aging you have to accept. You can fight it and you can win, but it takes intention. It takes knowing what your body needs when it needs it and how to give it the right tools to stay strong, mobile, and resilient. The 5 fruits we've talked about today aren't just healthy snacks. They're powerful allies in your fight against weakness, fatigue, and decline. They support your hormones, protect your muscle cells, reduce inflammation, and enhance recovery. When used the right way, your strength is your independence. And every time you choose to nourish your body with purpose, you're not just eating. You're making an investment in the kind of life you want to live, not just longer, but stronger,